And hence it seems as if the channel bandwidth is, let's say, 100 kilohertz, then I can transmit each signal of 100 kilohertz. So if there are 10 signals to be transmitted, and if the bandwidth of each and every signal is 10 kilohertz, then all I need is a communication channel also of 10 kilohertz, because at a time I'm transmitting only one signal. But please note that that is not correct. If I'm transmitting 10 signals, each of bandwidth 10 kilohertz in TDM system, even when I'm transmitting one signal at a time, the bandwidth of the composite signal that gets generated will still be equal to 10 into bandwidth of each and every signal. So if the bandwidth of each and every signal, if it is 10 kilohertz, then to transmit 10 signals in TDM also, we will require 10 into 10k, which is 100 kilohertz of bandwidth. So there is no advantage in terms of bandwidth when you compare FDM and TDM. In FDM also we require the same amount of bandwidth, which is 10 into the bandwidth of each and every signal. Yes, we require extra bandwidth in terms of guard band in case of FDM, but if we don't consider that, then the bandwidth requirements are exactly same in FDM and TDM. We will conclude that. Before that, let's go through the block diagram of TDM system. So that's the block diagram of time division multiplexing system. You can see there are n number of input channels, S1, S2, S3 up to Sn, and there is this commutator switch shown which will keep on moving across all the input channels. These are n band limited message signals. We may have a block which is called pulse modulator, which will generate a specific pulse for each sample which is coming in. The output of this will be nothing but a rectangular pulse or any other pulse shape which will represent the incoming channel, and this will be further given to the channel for transmission. So this type of system that gets generated is called TDM PAM system. That is simply because when you do sampling of the signal, we have discussed practical sampling in the form of flat top sampling or natural sampling. If you remember, in both the cases, we change the amplitude of rectangular pulse as per the amplitude of the incoming modulating signal. So the sampling process basically gives us nothing but pulse amplitude modulation, because you have to vary the amplitude of pulses as per the amplitude of modulating signal. So we get TDM PAM system in the form of time division multiplexing. So pulse modulator will keep on giving one pulse for each sample from one signal. It will then give a next pulse from the second signal, third pulse from the third signal, and so on. And this sequence of pulses will repeat in each and every time frame. On the output side, we have pulse demodulator. The output of the pulse demodulator will be connecting to various output channels through something called as decommutator. So there is a switch on the output side also, and you can see all these dotted arrows. They represent the synchronization between commutator and decommutator that we have in the systems. The output will be in the form of samples which are given to low pass filters. After passing through low pass filters, we will get continuous signals S1, S2, S3 up to Sn. Alright, so we get n signals demodulated or the recovered on the output side. We generally do not use the same representation. We call it S1 cap, S2 cap, etc. That is because sampling, you are not transmitting the entire signal, you are only transmitting the samples of the signal. So whenever the recovery takes place, you cannot get the exact shape of the original signal back. So sampling process, please remember, is always lossy process, and what you can achieve is the approximate representation of the original signal. So S1 will be generated as S1 cap on the output side. Nevertheless, if we have followed the sampling theorem perfectly, in that case we will be able to get the closest approximation of the original modulating signal without any major loss of information. So that's the TDM system. Let's quickly go through the bandwidth requirement in this particular system.